starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
What up, what up?
Yo.
Yo.
All right, we are live once again. We are back. Took a week off. Good to be back, guys. Welcome to Kiss Meets the Podcast, 4K, the Crazy Kiss Countdown. You one of the best. I am one of your hosts, Eli Clausen.
And I am Luke Neely.
And I am Savannah Royster.
And she's a knitting a blanket.
Okay.
So this week we are next up in line in the solo albums is Paul Stanley, the Star Child. So this is going to be a pretty interesting episode. It's seems to be one of the most disputed albums, believe it or not, and at least to me, as far as the solo albums go, whether or not people think it's good or not, or some may even think it's the best or not. So this should be a pretty interesting discussion on this episode. Before we get into everything, I just wanted to real quickly say thanks to everyone that wished me a happy birthday yesterday, the big 4-0. So it feels weird, but yeah, it was a good birthday though. I have to say it was one of the best I've had probably since my 25th. So definitely thanks to everyone that helped make it special and all that good stuff. So it was a good one.
Yeah, he's not going to remember too much more. The dementia's setting in. So, yeah.
What's this show about?
I don't know.
I have applied for the Golden Buckeye card now.
Nice. Pretty soon you're going to dust away like those guys in Avengers.
Yeah, all you gotta do is snap your fingers and I'll just start melting away.
Yep.
Bye-bye.
I envision you being more like Glinda from Wizard of Oz.
Or the Wicked Witch when she melts.
Your socks curl up.
Yes.
It's like too much starch on them things. All right, so what's that?
The red sparkles bring out your eyes.
Yeah, I finally invested in a better lighting system. I don't know if it's noticeable or not this time, but trying to do something a little better than that crap I did have going on. Hopefully it shows. I'm still messing with it.
Yeah.
So, I hope everyone's doing great. Not sure if anyone's rolled in yet, but say what's up when you do. Hope everyone's ready for Halloween, man. Best time of the year. Tomorrow night's trick or treat. So I can't wait to go out dressed up in my costume.
Naturally.
I'm going to dress like a 20-year-old and try to relive my youth.
All right.
What's up, Chris? How you doing, man?
Yo.
Yeah, Chris, I just want to apologize again, man. I'm sorry we had to cancel once again to come on your show and reschedule, but we definitely want to do it. Been excited to get back on there, so hopefully we can reschedule something pretty soon and make it work this time for sure. So sorry we missed it, man.
I might have a tiny little spot coming up on one of their episodes, though.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, get a little sneak peek.
judging penis size or something.
Yeah, that's what it was.
He said,
Let me tell you, it was
said it was a tiny
100,000
spot.
watts. Yeah.
You didn't sit it on someone's shoulder, did you?
No.
I did that at the show last weekend. I don't know if you remember the guy Luke Travis that ran the thing.
Yeah.
He had this, like, he had a bunch of fake body parts, and some reason he had this like big fake, like, well, not big, but it was like a fake penis, and it looked all like decrepit and everything. And so I'm walking with it. Let alone I'm getting ready to go backstage to mess with the guys. Well, as I'm doing that, those kids that played before us, so I'm like, I'm trying to hide it in my hand. I'm sitting here holding this, shaking a 16-year-old's
Oh, no.
hand.
Oh no.
So I go back there and I lay it on, Ryan's shoulder, and I'm like, hey, we're a tribute band. We got to reenact everything they did. So you got to kiss it.
Oh man.
Hey, Chris, thanks, man. Thanks for the birthday wish. Luke sent you a rocking video. That's kind of scary.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
He disappeared.
He did disappear.
It's like a magic trick. What happened?
Where did you go, Eli?
There's something stuck in my eye.
Your finger?
Yeah. Chris says in the TV show on Amazon Prime called The Boys, in one episode, a guy gets attacked by a giant member.
Oh, member.
That is unfortunate. That would be a nasty way to die, I feel like, or
Yeah.
even just get attacked. I don't know if he dies, but that's
a story you wouldn't want to repeat.
Very unfortunate. Yeah. Some dick beat me up.
Oh,
Oh,
I see what you did there.
sure did.
Where did he go?
I don't know. That is strange. He dusted. That's what I was just saying it earlier.
Oh, no.
He dusted away like the Avengers. That's just how old he got.
He
You
was
gotta
like,
watch it when you're getting up there.
and away we go.
Yeah, he was. He was really upset. Very choked up. Ryan must have refused to kiss that piece that he was holding. So, he was still so upset about it, he had to take a break.
You had to take a breather. Ha.
Yeah.
Ha.
Aha!
Oh, we're just full of the innuendos. Kind of like
Yeah.
this album we're getting ready to do.
Yeah, you ain't kidding.
He's going to reappear as Tommy Thayer. That's awesome.
It'll be somebody else that looks vaguely like Eli, but clearly isn't, claiming to be Eli. Yeah. He's
I
the
think it
Tommy
should be
Thayer
Amy.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I guess we'll get into comments, and hopefully he'll pop back in while we're doing that.
Yeah.
Let's see here. So we had some new comments on the last episode, which was Peter Chris's album.
What the hell
I
happened?
happened to look. This was interesting because this. So,
I don't know what
there he
happened.
is.
What the hell happened?
I don't know.
Like, you both disappeared, and I thought I was by myself, and I was just sitting here like blabbing and shit.
Yeah, no, that's what happened with us. We were both still here, but you disappeared.
And then I saw Chris's comment about Tommy Thayer, and I'm like, oh, I must not be on there like I think I am.
You're the
Yeah.
one that disappeared.
And I'm just sitting there blabbing and talking about stuff. And
Yeah, Luca made the comment that you dusted.
that's how quick it happened.
It really is. It's right there. It's right there. Every time.
Sorry about that, guys. Chris, no, I hadn't seen that show. I'm going to have to check that out. I was talking about I was going to recommend a movie to you if you're into horror. It's called Black Sheep, not to be confused with Chris Farley. I watched it again last night after the first time in years. It's a New Zealand film, but it's obviously made not to be serious. So like these rabid sheep bite people, and the people turn into sheep, and so like we're sheep, if you will. And it's quite entertaining. I had to revisit it last night and was laughing my ass off. Definitely
That's good.
check it out sometime.
I'm gonna have to ask Jeremiah at work if he's ever seen that one. He's into the real weird horror movies, stuff like that. Oh no, he's gone again.
Oh no. He disappeared. Well, it said he had come back, but
He didn't.
yeah.
Very strange. Yeah, Jeremiah spent a whole shift one time telling me about a movie called Poultrygeist. That sounded rather entertaining. There he is.
Poltergeist is very good.
Yeah.
I'm gonna quit messing with the mouse because I keep accidentally hitting a button, and I keep almost
Oops.
hitting back, and that's why it's causing this problem. So yeah.
Oopsie daisy.
On with the show. That's
Yeah.
what Neil would say.
Killer Santa
Jaws.
shark called Santa Jaws. Oh, that's amazing.
I still got to watch that one called Velocipaster.
God. I know, I saw that on Facebook.
Oh man. So some comments then.
All right.
All right. So something interesting that happened on the last episode and also last time we did Peter Chris. This episode got like double the amount of our normal views. So apparently you do a questionable album and you get plenty of views. That's
Yeah, it's one of them things where it's like, you know, people want to gang up to crap on it. So it's almost like that's what draws people in to watch it, just to see, like, okay, how bad are we going to either bash it or like it, or, you know, whatever. It's like that curiosity. People can't help it.
right. Right. I remember joking before we did the Peter episode last time in the first 4K that it was going to be our least viewed episode, and I think it was dang near the top. Like,
Yeah. I remember that. Yeah.
That's weird.
Our least viewed episode now is probably Laura Nero.
Yeah. And who can blame you all? So our first comment on the last episode is from Just Add Vinyl, our good buddy Corey here. He says, I think I was at the 1:30 show for Sweet Pain. I assume it's one of the clips we showed last week. Yeah, he probably was.
God,
yeah, that would have been the Columbus one.
Jay's.
Right? The
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
They did come to Jay's. I do remember that now. Yeah.
Yep.
I do remember.
Absolutely. We also got a regular comment from Mike 100,000 watts. We don't normally see him as a regular comment. He said, "This episode rocks."
Thank you.
Yes. We got a comment from Robbie Starr's good old rabble, who says, funny thing with the Peter Chris solo album, out of all 4 members' albums, this is my second favorite Kiss solo album. It's aged quite well for me, plus it sounds great being mixed well. Paul's is hyped up too much with only a few good songs. Gene's is corny but good in a way, and Ace's is stellar. Peter's is mixed with all the styles of music that I have enjoyed as I get older, and I give Peter credit for doing an album outside the box. I rank it an 8.
What's up, 100,000? Be safe getting home the rest of the way, man.
Ooh, yes, definitely. Let's see. We got a comment from Thomas, right in Adamstown. He says that was an interesting Van Halen talk. That's right, because Thomas asked on the last episode what was the deal with America hating on Sammy Hagar.
Right.
Yep.
He says saw them in 1984 with Dave and it was great. Saw them with Sammy and it was great too. Then with Gary, which was not bad but weird, but nothing wrong with that guy. Extreme 2 and Extreme 3 are fantastic albums with perfect vocals. The songwriting on Van Halen 3 was so bad that Sharon could not save the album. And Sammy's solo at Sweden Rock was also fantastic. He said, love Standing Hampton and Three Lock Box. So thank you to all the guys for fun times. R.I.P. Eddie. He says, back to Peter. Really like his 1978 album. Also Out of Control and Cat 1, 2. I give it an 8. Also, he gave us his top 3, which were Hooked on Rock and Roll. That's the kind of sugar Papa likes. And I Can't Stand the Rain.
Yeah, those other 2 Peter albums were not too bad when we cover them.
Yeah, yeah. I didn't absolutely hate any of those that we did.
And then supposedly there's a recent piece that came out that said there's like thousands and thousands of CDs that Eddie Van Halen left behind of just unused material and things that he was demoing and messing around with.
You know, honestly, that wouldn't surprise me if that were true at all.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So.
We were talking about this a couple of weeks ago. Like the day after Eddie had died, I got on Van Halen's Wikipedia just to read, and he was already listed as a past member, and that bothered me a little bit. I was like, man, that implies that they're going to keep going, and unless they got, this is just me being wishful thinking, if they got Michael Anthony back and let Wolfgang play guitar, I think I would be okay with it personally, but any other way, nah.
Yeah, that was a rumor that some random website started up, and Wolf shot it down pretty quick because, I mean, for one, it's way too, soon to be even talking about stuff like that, and let the kid grieve and everything, and who knows, down the road things might change, but yeah, I mean that would be the only acceptable thing I would be into is if Wolf played guitar, and but if God forbid something happens to Alex before they make that decision, then at that point I would pretty much just say can it, because I don't want to see just a random guy playing drums that had nothing to do with Van Halen, period.
Yeah.
Right. Let's see what else we got. We got a comment from Portobello Mushroom. That's a new name. Good to see you.
I love that.
Yeah. And Portobello Mushroom says, love Peter's solo album and the other 3 as well. Great show. Thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Yes.
I like portobello mushrooms dipped in Italian dressing, and
yes,
it's very good.
Yes. Let's see. Actually, Robbie also commented on that comment. He says, I remember hearing New York Groove, You Matter to Me, and Radioactive on the radio numerous times when those were released as singles and loved them, but no Paul songs. He easily picked the wrong song for a single because the only time I heard it was in Kiss Meets the Phantom of the Park. Definitely a bad decision because there were better songs on his album.
Yep.
Or Attack of the Phantoms, technically.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, I forgot about that until I read his comment, and then I went, opened the Wikipedia page for the episode today and saw that the single was "Hold Me, Touch Me," and
I believe the B-side was Goodbye.
God, what?
Oh. Oh no.
Oh.
Paul, why?
Oh boy. All right, so that's it for the comments. Now we do have oh, look at that. Chris likes Mike's mom.
Did you see our buddy Aaron left a comment regarding today's episode on Facebook?
Actually, yeah, absolutely. I did see that. Let me find that real quick.
So Mike's mom just bought him Destroyer Resurrected, huh? That is pretty cool.
Yeah.
And speaking of those, if you guys remember the Walmart exclusive Destroyer, that they had put out a while back with the orange vinyl. I guess they've already done another one now. There's Love Gun, and it's I believe it's like a yellow, if I'm not mistaken, with like splatter.
Oh,
So that's kind
Nice.
of a new Walmart exclusive to collect.
That's neat that they're doing that.
Yeah.
Since everybody's getting back into vinyl, might as well. Why not?
yep.
I don't know if they
Yeah.
consider those like, quote, more affordable versions for people that are just getting into it versus these, anniversary, deluxe editions that they put out or whatever you want to say, but still pretty cool nonetheless. Lost your audio.
Hello?
There you go.
Yeah, okay. It's what if I move off this tab for some reason.
Huh.
Okay, am I still there?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So we got a comment from Aaron Philpott on our Facebook. He says, I got the Paul solo album on the same day as I got the Gene and Peter albums, plus Crazy Nights and Hotter Than Hell. It was a lot for a 13-year-old kid to digest at once, and shortly afterwards I started getting new Kiss stuff, mainly bootlegs, all the time. As a consequence, I didn't really listen to the Paul or Gene albums that much. I am glad to say over the years I have come to realize and appreciate what a fine album Paul's is. However, I still struggle to listen to Gene's album in full. It's a little more eclectic, shall I say. That's one way to put it.
Yes.
Yeah, I gotta say, Gene's album grows on me more every time I listen to it. Like, there's definitely more songs I enjoy on there now than I used to, and I gotta be honest, the same with Paul's. Last time we did the album, and then today's listen, like different things were catching me this time that didn't catch me last time. So I mean, again, like we could say this till we're blue in the face, but that's one thing we love about doing this is because our picks can change month to month, or every time we listen to the album, something different it might catch us that never caught us before. It's just you just never know. Every time you sit down and listen to these things, just I guess it's the mood you're in. Something's going to catch you the right way.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
What's up, Javier? He said he used to think that Paul was the best of the solo albums, but he has changed his mind since.
Nice.
Interesting.
Nice.
I wonder what he thinks is the best now. Is it Peter?
Yeah. It's definitely Peter. Peter's is the only Kiss album that matters.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he was pretty high on it when we did it last time, so maybe it is. Thanks, Mike. You guys rock too. Kiss and Tail rocks. Be sure to go sub to them if you guys haven't.
So real quick, let's catch up on our polls for this week too.
Oh yeah, I totally forgot to even look for today, the new ones.
Right. Yes, we're at an interesting impasse right at the moment. We are at the end of round 3. Now, you guys that know will know that we only did 3 matches last week instead of 6, and that's because that's all that was left for round 3. So, at our usual PSA for this, if you haven't already, go check out Kiss Meets the Podcast on Facebook. You can give our page a like. We'd really appreciate that. Also, we are currently running a Facebook-only every single Kiss song tournament. We just said it, just at the end of round 3, but we want as much input as we can. Now, because of Facebook's weird things with how you're allowed to post polls, they disabled a bunch of stuff for the election season, so we're only posting these polls in our group, Kiss Meets the Podcast group. But if you want in there, just send us a message or request to join the group. You can find it on Facebook. We'll get you in. We accept everybody because we want as many votes on these as possible. So, wrapping up round 3, the ones that we posted last week were Firehouse versus Shandy. And I realized I closed this page and shouldn't have. Here we go. Firehouse versus Shandy, which was a really close match, and Firehouse ended up taking it with 53%. Very close.
Yeah.
Yeah. We also had You Make Me Rock Hard versus Shock Me. I don't think this will surprise anybody. Shock Me takes it with 81%.
Come on, you had the pun there and you didn't use it.
Yeah.
You missed a golden opportunity.
Naturally.
I don't think this will make anybody rock hard.
No.
That's the pun of it.
You Make Me Rock Hard went limp and lost this with 19%. We also had War Machine versus Lick It Up. Those of you who have been watching this tournament for a while will remember that Lick It Up actually lost to Exciter in round 1, which that's kind of a surprising loss. But then it won our round 1 second chance round and came back. It made it through round 2 and into round 3, and now it has lost again to War Machine, and badly. War Machine wins with 88%.
That's a fair. That's a more fair loss right there, I think.
Yeah, I was surprised. I'll say this: I agree. I like Exciter more than the studio version of Lick It Up, but I was surprised to see it win.
Javier furious that Firehouse won.
Yes. Oh man, yeah, that was a little. That's interesting. So right now we've got rather than 6 new matches, we've got our round 3 second chance match. So right now in our page, you can go check out. There is 1 single match posted right now. It is 6 songs. You can only pick one of the 6, and whichever one of these wins gets to get put back into round 4. So these are all 6 of these songs are songs that have lost their respective matches but still had really high percentages. So right now what we're looking at as far as what can get back in is God of Thunder, Who Wants to Be Lonely, A Million to One, Hate, I'm a Legend Tonight, and Let Me Go Rock and Roll.
Man, that's tough.
Yeah. Yes.
It's like, can we break that down in its own mini tournament?
Yeah, no kidding. Right now, God of Thunder is winning by a pretty decent margin. So if any of you in here haven't voted already and you want a different one, you better get in there.
Yeah, and you guys, if you go over and vote, and then if you're able to, please share the poll into your personal page, and then I'm sure you guys have a lot of KISS friends in your Facebook list, so hopefully they can encourage them to vote on it as well, because we definitely want as many votes as we could possibly get. So please help spread the word, and we appreciate it. Oh, lost you. There you go.
Dang it. Oh yeah. Yes, we're getting close. We're already down to I think round 4 only has 18 matches in it.
Holy cow.
Yeah, so definitely get in there while the getting's good. All right, so how about album info?
All right, let's hear it.
All right, Paul Stanley is the 1978 solo album from, what do you know, Paul Stanley. This album was released, I know. This album was released September 18th, 1978, alongside all 4 of the studio albums. So that didn't make sense. Alongside the other 3 studio albums, of course, from each member of KISS at the time. This was recorded from February to July in 1978 at Electric Lady Studios in New York, the Record Plant Studios, and the Village Recorder in L.A. Also, interestingly, this is the only release of the 4 KISS solo albums to feature all original songs. Never really thought about that, but totally. This album was produced by Paul Stanley and Jeff Glicksman. 1 single, Hold Me, Touch Me, for some reason. I don't know. Personnel is a few different people, not quite so many as Gene's, but of course we've got Paul Stanley, who played lead and backing vocals, rhythm guitar, lead guitar, acoustic guitar, the Evo, and all guitars on track 7, which is Hold Me, Touch Me. Bob Kulick he did lead guitar and acoustic guitar. We've got Steve Buslow, who played the bass on the first 5 tracks. Eric Nelson, who played the bass on tracks 6 through 9. Richie Fontana played drums on tracks 1 through 4. Carmine Appice played drums on track 5. And then Craig Krampf played drums on tracks 6 through 9. We've also got Diana Grasselli, who did backing vocals on track 2. Miriam Naomi Val, who did backing vocals on track 2. Maria Vidal, who also did backing vocals on track 2. Pepe Castro did backing vocals on tracks 3 and 7. Doug Katsaros, who did piano, the string ensemble, and backing vocals on track 7. And Steve Lacey, who did electric guitar on track 8. This did get up to the number 40 spot on the U.S. Billboard 200, and this album is certified platinum.
You know, it's amazing because it sounds like the same drummer on the whole album to me.
Yeah. Yep, absolutely. I believe, if I remember right from Paul's book, he started with that first band. It was him and Bob, and then Steve Buslow and Richie Fontana in New York, and then they moved to L.A., and that's where he got the other guys, the Eric Nelson on bass and Craig Krampf on drums.
Oh, yeah.
Something like that. And I'm not sure how Carmine Appice fits into that.
Yeah, and then to only play on one song, it's like, what's that all about? Was the schedule busy? You know, how'd that come about anyway? I don't know. Interesting though.
See, all these comments that we're getting right now is like a +10 for me.
Yes.
Yeah, Javier votes for 1,000,000 to get back in the list.
Yes.
Chris seems to agree. Mike seems to agree.
Yes. Good stuff.
So I don't know. Like Luke said, God of Thunder's got the lead right now. So only you guys can prevent God of Thunder from moving on. Only you can prevent demon fires.
Yes.
Yes.
All right. Well, let's get this album going. Only 9 tracks on this one. Not the usual 10 for some reason. So opening up this album is Tonight You Belong to Me. And as I've done in the past, blowing the load right off the top, this is number 1 for me. I believe it was number 1 last time too. If it wasn't, I'm not sure why, but just a epic track, the opening up the whole thing with that acoustic piece, sounds amazing. And then when it just kicks into that riff, that and then, I mean, it's just total Paul, over the top rock star. Again, like why did they choose Move On to perform live? Of all songs, this would have been a great one. Again, like this is just another one of those songs that I could just picture that disco ball spinning and, Paul just being the big rock star singing this song, belting it out, man. It's such a good song.
Yep.
So my number 1.
This is my number 1 as well. This song, it starts out with what I like to call the eerie sounding guitar, and I love that sound, and I like how this song has that slower start, and then it builds up to that heavier feel. And I love the solo, but the only thing about this song that I kind of wish was a little bit different was when Paul he sings over the end of that solo, and I kind of wish he would have waited before he started singing and let it play out all the way, and then came in and started singing. That was the only thing about this song that I kind of was like, man, it would have been perfect if he would have just let it play all the way and then started singing. Like, just waited a few more seconds. But yeah, it's a great song, and it's just for the opening of an album. I think it's just great.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I think we know which song's going to win this. This is my number 1 too.
All right.
This might be the first time on any of these that all three of us have agreed on like any of.
For the first
but yeah,
track,
this is
for the first track to be number 1 for everybody.
Right.
Yeah.
This is just such a classic Paul song. It's got everything a Paul song ought to have. Amazing vocals, a perfect rhythm track. Bob's lead is great. And it's such a Paul way to start the album, too. You know, we said something similar about I Want You with Rock and Roll Over starting with a clean piece. And while normally you would think that's maybe a little iffy, Paul just pulls it off freaking perfect.
Yeah.
And the energy is still there, even though this isn't a super upbeat song. The power makes up for the fact that it's not a fast-paced thing. Just absolutely perfect.
Yeah, I think this definitely starts the way people wanted Paul's album to sound. You know what I mean? Like, you hear that and you're like, oh, this album's gonna be good. You know?
Yep.
Yeah.
Robbie Stars, what's up? He says Paul has some good tracks on here, but his ballad he released as a single was horrendous and did not help sales for the album. It was actually the last solo album that he bought. He says God of Thunder all the way.
Ooh.
Chris says Paul Stanley's solo album 2020, track 1, Tonight Ace Belongs to Me. Javier says this is a great opening track, his second favorite on the album. Interesting.
Nice.
So moving into track number 2, and mentioned it a minute ago, Move On. This is my number 2. Again, like I just said, I would not have chose this one to perform live. Man, I tell you that I've always enjoyed this song. This has always been one of the songs that I go to on this album. Probably because they did perform it live, and that's what put it in my head. But I tell you, man, on this listen, I was really paying attention to Bob soloing, especially towards the end there. And man, he's smoking on this album, man. He's everything he did on Live 2 and all that stuff, I felt like pales to what he was doing just on this song alone.
Yeah.
The only little gripe about this song that I always kind of hate towards that end part is that little the female like Motown sounding kind of background vocals. I could do without that. Like, that part to me just doesn't really fit, especially over all that soloing, and it's just such a kind of a high energy ending for the song right there. But other than that, Paul's sounding great on this song too. He's hitting some fairly high notes, and we gotta love the live version with Gene doing the move on.
Yeah.
But
love's one way to say it.
There you go. But yeah, that's the main thing that really made it number 2 this time, was basically Bob's solo. And man, it was just really catching me this time. And I'm just sitting there like staring at the turntable as I hear it, like, wow, he's just smoking on this thing.
Yeah. This was number 5 for me. This song it's just kind of a fun and a groovy vibe kind of a song, It's a little corny and it's a little too much on the boppy side, but it's a fun song. You know what I mean? It's just all around. It is a fun song, and both those solos. I mean, in the middle and then at the end, they were just great. And the dynamic of it, speeding up. It kind of sped up like through the choruses, and then it kind of was diving into these slower parts, and that was just really cool how that flowed like that, because it's not easy to get a song to do that. You have this, it speeds up and then it gets all energetic, and then it kind of just, dives right like smoothly into like these slower parts, and it was really cool how it did that. And it's a song that, I mean, when you hear it, you sing with it, because it's a fun song.
Yeah.
So number 5 for me.
You dance in the mirror.
Yep.
This one's actually number 7 for me. This one for me, it's never really caught me. It's not a bad song. Kind of like what Eli said. I can't find anything wrong with it other than those female vocals don't quite fit it. They're a bit weird, but just generally as a song, it's never really caught me. And absolutely agree. Like with Tossin' and Turnin', I definitely feel like this was the wrong choice for which song Kiss should have done live.
Absolutely. And then as soon as I was, criticizing the Motown sounding thing, I'm like, well, gee, I guess that means he was influenced by that stuff even back then, because look at what he does now, Soul Station, and that similar kind of. So he kind of threw a little bit of that flavor in there even back then.
Right.
Yep.
Chris said that's what Paul told Bob Kulick when he wanted to be in Kiss. He said, "Move on." Robbie says, "Move on live. The breakdown in the middle sounds a bit gospel. Ace rocks it live and pulls off a great solo." I agree. It's funny you say that, because again, when I was listening to that solo part of me is like, "Oh yeah, Ace," and I'm like, "Duh, it's not Ace, it's Bob." But again, Bob doing the job of kind of almost sounding like Ace on here. And then I do agree that Ace did a pretty good job of pulling it off, though, live. Mike's about to pass a kidney stone here. Move on sounds like a Culture Club song. Number 7 on Luke's list, but number 1 in his heart from Paul Stanley. Move on. And a Casey Kasem voice.
Oh, God.
I love it. Oh. All right. Next up is Ain't Quite Right, number 8 for me, next to last. As usual, when I listen to this album, this song doesn't do much for me. It was the one time that I was kind of find myself not paying much attention, and just nothing really ever catches me on this. That's all. And it's just, again, it's not a horrible song. I'll continue to say that. It's listenable at least, but it just didn't grab me as well as a lot of these other songs.
This was number 2 for me, and I don't know like what it gives me an Eagles feel when I hear it. There's an Eagles song that kind of has like a same guitar riff in it, like the main riff of the song, but I can't think of the title of it and which one I was actually thinking of. But I mean, it felt more laid back, but it still had all this great around just rock feel and sound to it. So it just hit me just in the right way, where it was just like I liked that it kind of had an Eagles vibe to it, but it was like Paul. It was like Paul singing an Eagles song. That's what it felt like. So I was like, this is really cool. Like it just hit me in that right way. So number 2 for me.
This is number 5 for me. Yeah, this one did actually kind of catch me this time. I was actually just kind of taking a peek down the votes, and I had this one next to last time, and that surprises me. It really caught me this time because yeah, it's such a chill and grooving song. The chorus gets stuck in my head a lot, and now this was the song that Bob's lead guitar work caught me on a lot. Just the way he was able to stand out, but at the same time, like even in spots where Paul was singing and there was also leads, what he was playing would catch you, but it wasn't like he was trying to take attention away from what Paul was doing. Everything just kind of fit perfect.
I agree. Next is Wouldn't You Like to Know Me? This is my number 4. This is another one that's grown on me over the last like 5-10 years. Every time I listen to it, I just like it a little bit more, and it's just got a good like the beginning of it. It kind of reminds me of a little bit of like Billy Idol, which is weird to say, but like because the Billy Idol I'm thinking of didn't come until, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 years later after this, but it kind of reminds me of that type of sound, the Dancing with Myself thing or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know why I get that vibe every time I hear the beginning, but once it kicks in and kind of changes its course, it's a real good song. It's kind of a fun song on the drums too. Some cool little fills and stuff like that. So definitely a solid song. I felt like even this would have been a pretty good single. I mean, probably not the best one, of course, but I definitely think it would have done better than freaking Hold Me. So
Yeah.
God, yeah.
Yes. This was number 6 for me. I feel like though, like as good as this song is, I feel like it's one of those songs that is just too out there for what Paul is mainly known for. It's cheesy and it's corny, and I know that Kiss sometimes has that dynamic as well. But this one went way overboard with that notion. You know what I mean? It was way corny. But I will say though, it is one of those songs that will be stuck in your head for weeks, and not just the chorus, like nothing else, just the chorus will be stuck in your head. When I first heard this song, that chorus was stuck in my head for weeks after I heard it, and it would just randomly pop into my head. Like I would be sitting with Luke, and all of a sudden I'd be like, "Wouldn't you like to know me?" Like just randomly, I'm like, "Why? I haven't even heard that in like the last month. Like, why is that still stuck in my head?"
and
So,
then,
but yeah, it's again, it's like Move On. It's just a fun song to sing along with, and he does it. He always has done that very well. Having those catchy choruses and stuff that they get stuck and you cannot get them out of your head for nothing.
and then mix
uh,
in some Billy Idol while you're singing this sweat,
yes,
sweat,
yes,
sweat.
yes. So number 6 for me.
Number 2 for me this time. I think this is another song that's right on the level with "Tonight You Belong to Me." When I think of Paul's album, those are the 2 songs that come to mind every time. "Tonight You Belong to Me," "Wouldn't You Like to Know Me." I think both of those should have been singles, definitely, and either one rather than "Hold Me, Touch Me." But these are the 2 that always come to mind for me.
All right, next is "Take Me Away, Together as One." And this is my number 3, and "Wouldn't You Like to Know Me" was going to be my number 3 until I heard this again. This is the one that really caught me this time. That last time I think I pretty much threw it away too. But for the first time out of all Kiss music that I've ever heard, and listening to this again, I felt like this song was the most different sounding from anything Kiss did. And it sounds more like that like sort of cliche classic rock that I don't put Kiss in that category, but this actually does sound like that. And like you guys were saying earlier about the one song about sort of an Eagles type of feel, I felt like this sort of had that too. Just a real cool, again, a bit lengthy song, but it caught you the whole time. It had a lot of cool parts. Again, Bob doing some cool work throughout the song. Very catchy, a little kind of chill at points too. And so yeah, this is definitely the surprise for me this time was this song, especially being number 3. I went into the album just ready to pretty much put an 8 or 9 next to it just right off the bat, and then sure enough, I'm just like, wow, like this is now becoming one of my favorite songs on the album all of a sudden.
Yeah, this was number 4 for me, and the only thing about this, like, I love this song. The only thing about it that kind of was disappointing to me, there was 2 things, is that once his vocals picks up, it's like kind of like they take a back seat almost, like they're not as forefront as they were when it's kind of a slower, you know. It's kind of inconsistent with how he's so right there in the forefront, and then when it picks up, it kind of like doesn't mix right. and then it kind of felt like the song in general was almost like muted at points, which was sad because it's such a good song that it was like, why does this feel so inconsistent, like with how it was produced or mixed or however it was done. um and then there's a small drum fill or beat that happens right before the solo, and those hits, they just kind of fell flat. Like I was expecting those to just like hit me, like right in the chest. I should have been feeling that, and it was like that could like they should have mixed that so much better. Like where are those hits? Like I need to feel those hits. um and I mean, if it wouldn't have been for that, like, because there was other drum fills and stuff towards the end and stuff, those drum fills would have been my favorite part of this song had they just hit like they were supposed to. But I felt like they were just kind of flat, and like they were such cool fills that it was like, who mixed this song? Because I am so sad that it is not up where it's supposed to be. Like if it would have sounded like the rest of the album, but for some reason this song, it was just like he did a great job, but like I wish it would have been mixed or produced a little better, however, the process is.
Yeah,
um
Carmine's a pretty solid drummer, but I
yeah,
never
he
I
is.
kind of rank him there with like Phil Rudd, to be honest. Like I don't consider him like a phenomenal drummer, but he has played on a lot of big things, and
Right.
personally I prefer his brother, with what he did, like with Sabbath especially.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Yeah, but I was like, man, this song probably would have been number one for me if it wouldn't have been for that. Like, I mean, maybe two. Like, I don't think it could have beat, you know, the first one, but it was
number
just
one
like,
with the bullet.
yeah. That was the only thing that I was saddened by, were those two things, because it's such a good song.
Number 6 for me on this one. And yeah, I noticed that almost immediately too, that the drum sound changed pretty drastically, or at least the bass drum. I felt like the bass drum really lost its punch just on this song. The whole rest of the album sounds fine. Just
Yep.
for some reason, suddenly it's more of a rock and roll over thud than a kick like the rest of this album.
And that's Carmine.
And and there you go. Yep. And this song has always been kind of frustrating for me because there are parts of it that catch me, but it doesn't quite get there. This is one that to me feels like it had more potential than what it ended up being. The only thing that like really, really grabbed me was near the end, Carmine's drum fills. But at the same time, like I kind of wish there had been a guitar solo over that chord progression that's happening right there. Something to spice it up a little more than just the same couple of chords over and over till it fades.
Right. Javier says "Taking Away" is by far his favorite song on this album. Carmine kills it. Robbie said Carmine actually recorded 4 or 5 of these songs, but Paul only used him on one. Paul said he overdrummed on all of them, but he said it was a fun time. So that kind of explains that there.
Interesting.
Robert Enix asks, is there any chance the polls can make their way over to Twitter? He is not on Facebook that often.
I don't know how polls work on Twitter. I have to check that out.
We do have I believe we still have a Twitter account. We just unfortunately don't really use it anymore, but we really should. We'll definitely take that into consideration, man. We'll look into that and see about posting the polls on there as well. Chris, we know you like "Do You Think I'm Sexy?" Dancing in the Mirror. Carmine. All right, so we flipped the record over, and then we got "It's All Right." Number 5 for me. This one is another one that I feel like is kind of the brother song to move on for some reason. I feel like they're kind of one and the same. It's another song that I've always enjoyed off of this album. To be honest, like the first time I saw like the commercial for the albums, and they're playing little clips in the song, and I know this is one of the clips they play, so that's really how I first heard this song, or at least a piece of it. So then when I found it on the album, I'm like, okay, this is one of my favorite songs. But over the years, it's kind of obviously worn down a little bit at this point, and now it's at my number 5. But it's still a pretty solid song all around. And again, Paul hitting some great notes there on the vocals, and I like the little the intro with the guitar riff and the drums kind of doing the little floor tom hit, kind of a cool little different intro there. So yeah, number 5 this time, and it's hopefully gonna catch my attention more in future listens and not continue to move down the list instead.
This is number 7 for me. This is the point in the album where I feel like the sexual innuendos are just getting a little on the too much side.
And it's Paul.
Because I know that Paul is for that, but I'm like, you have so many other things you can sing about. Like, come on. Like, we're more than halfway through this album now. Like, I mean, I like albums that have just, a little variation of just about everything. And this one doesn't really. I feel like it's just another drag on the one night stands and the groupie thought process, and I just this song in general just didn't really stick out to me very much. It was it's a solid song, but it's just it's not really like in my top, like just because there was nothing about it that really caught my attention. And then the typical innuendos and stuff, I was like, okay.
I mean, doesn't it make you want to order the Paul belt buckle?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I feel like if I was listening I mean, I wouldn't skip it by any means, but it just I don't think it would catch my attention, listening to it through.
This one's number 3 for me. First off, where was this bass drum sound in the last song?
Yeah.
we return to the good sounding drums here. I almost always forget about this song. It's so weird because every time I see this title, I think of Any Way You Want It. It's all right.
Yeah.
It's all right. And then as soon as this one starts, I'm always like, oh yeah, this is totally a different song. I really like this one. Another underrated one for me. And I don't know why, but I'm always surprised when it comes on. I always forget about it. So it was enjoyable for me this time.
Robbie says Carmine is a monster of a drummer. Listen to Cactus. He was amazing. Plus, it was John Bonham's favorite drummer. Yeah, Cactus was good stuff. I'm not saying everything he played on was horrible, but yeah, I mean, Cactus was definitely solid stuff.
Okay, pardon me while I walk with me while I let my dog out and try to get rid of this hot flash I'm having. Oh my gosh, it's awful.
Paul doesn't like Carmine Appice, but likes Tommy Thayer, says Chris.
Oh my gosh.
You know what my only legitimate complaint for Carmine is?
What?
He's part of the only family that can't figure out how they pronounce their own last name. That's never ceased to bother me that he says Appice, but Vinny says Appice. I don't understand.
Okay, this will explain why Savannah was having hot flashes. We move into Hold Me, Touch Me.
Yeah, that's right.
Think of me when we're apart. That's the official thing.
It couldn't be the fact that I'm 8 months pregnant. No.
Nah, surely it's Paul singing this song and the thought of it. So this is number 6 for me. So again, yeah, it's a horrible choice to be the single. However, I don't think it's too bad of a ballad. I think it's, like one of the only Like really, I mean, at this point in time in the Kiss catalog, this is really the first like true ballad that Paul sings on anything, if you really think about it. And I really don't think it's too bad. I like his vocal harmony on this, especially on the chorus part. But other than that, that's about it. That's about all I care for. I mean, it could be a little bit shorter of a song for all that matter too. But just repeat the chorus a few times and throw a little hook in there and then end it. That's all I care.
No surprise. This was number 9 for me.
9.
And I
Annoying.
don't think it's a bad ballad. It's just compared to the other songs in the album, I think it just doesn't quite measure up. But just like with Peter's album, and I'm wondering now if all of them are going to have a song like this. This gave me the same visual that one of the ballads on Peter's album gave me of, Paul sitting on a stool in a suit with his makeup singing this song, and he's got 4 people in the background, snapping and singing along with him. But the difference with this one is that, as the song progressed, I also saw, some females in ballroom dresses, sliding out and start ballroom dancing with the background singers. And then once the solo starts, Paul would then notice, the girl that's in the different dress, you know what I mean? And he would sidle up to her and hand her a rose, and then they would start ballroom dancing. And I was like, man, I wonder if they all have a song like this that's going to like give me this visual, because this is like, it's really annoying, but it's amazing at the same time.
Here, let me beat Chris to the punch. So then that girl takes her wig and dress off, and it ends up being Tommy Thayer.
Oh no. Oh,
you want to be my ace?
Oh no.
Well, surely
you have got to stop dropping acid right before you listen to these albums.
Something, I'm telling you.
Well, surely Wiped Out on Ace's album will give you the same vision.
I'm hoping they all. I have a feeling though, for Jeans, it's going to be When You Wish Upon a Star. Yeah.
Oh dear Lord.
Gina Me Cricket.
Yeah.
It's like Jiminy Cricket with Gene makeup on.
Yes. And he's going to be singing lovingly to Jiminy Cricket.
I want to know what love is.
Oh, no. No! Oh, no! Oh, why? Yes.
We don't hear you.
Lost you.
We'll read his lips. This is my number 1.
Yeah. Oh, you know it. It's always going to be. Yeah. It must be. No, it's totally 9. And I'll tell you what, this will never not be my last place for this album. But yeah, I can't believe this was the single. What was he thinking? Okay.
Oh, but this is the best solo album.
Yeah. This I feel towards this song the way I feel towards the Peter Criss solo album in the context of the whole Kiss discography. This is a good song. It really is. People who like this kind of song, this is a great example of that kind of song. But it just feels so far out of place on this album.
Yeah.
And so it just completely takes me out of it. And it, that the part of my brain that recognizes good music recognizes that it's a good song. But the part of my brain that's viewing this album as a whole, as a piece, sees this as the redheaded stepchild. Yeah, exactly. Sorry.
Redheaded
and I just
stepchild.
I can't get into it because of that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That was a good one.
Next up is Love and Chains, number 7 for me. Yes, I realize that's a bit blasphemous. Okay, you guys aren't. I thought you guys froze there for a minute.
You and Luke both froze. That
No,
was weird.
you both
Weird.
froze.
No, you
Yeah, I
You.
froze.
Love and Change, number 7 for me. You know, it's a good song, but I felt like it was too similar to, you know, like Wouldn't You Like to Know Me and Move On, that kind of thing. Too much of the, you know, repeating of the chorus all the time. I just, by this point of the album, I was just getting a little fed up with hearing that. It's like, you know, and again, not a bad song. I feel like it's kind of one of those, you know, hidden gem, if you want to call it that, for, you know, fans that may not be as, you know, knowledgeable of the Kiss catalog. It's kind of one of those hidden gem songs. But yeah, just, I don't know, wasn't doing much for me this time on this listen, so it just fell to number 7 for me.
Nice.
Wow, Robbie Starr says he likes Peter's ballad on Psycho Circus more than Hold Me, Touch Me.
You know what? I actually thought about putting that same thing. I really did. I thought, I don't know if I'll go that far.
Let me ask Robbie and you this: where does Hold Me, Touch Me rank with Nothing Can Keep Me From You?
Ooh. I might put Hold Me, Touch Me above that one, if I'm being honest.
What about next to Finally Found My Way?
That's true. I think I'd put Finally Found My Way ahead. I might put Finally Found My Way ahead of Hold Me, Touch Me just because of the bridge. That's the really interesting bit of that song, you know?
Okay.
Where were we? Oh yeah, okay. Love and Chains is number 3 for me. It's kind of like how Luke said earlier that, you know, when I think of Paul's album, it's usually Tonight You Belong to Me and then this one is the 2 that I think of. I love the way that Paul sings this song, and just it has this just overall rock vibe to it that is awesome. It's got a great solo, a great energy. So it just struck me in the right mood this time. So it was higher up on my list this time.
Mike, man.
Yeah.
What is going on? Oh.
He says, "Oh no."
Oh no. Yeah, this is number 4 for me. You know, honestly, I always forget that this is a Paul solo song. When I think about this song, it just seems like a Kiss song to me. In fact, I think this one would have gone really well with the other stuff on Dynasty. I could see this one being on Dynasty. So another big underrated one for me, this one.
You know, I can almost imagine this even being on something like Animalize, like if they had kind of reorganized it or whatever to, you know,
Yeah.
it almost sounds like something that could have been in that 80s era. Kind of a hair metalish type song.
Yeah.
Well, we come to the last song on the album, and how clever. It's called Goodbye. And this came in at number 9, dead last for me. So I couldn't wait for this song to be over. Just, I don't know. Never done anything for me. The fact that it's the B-side on that single, I've heard this song more than enough than I wanted to, and by this point, I had pretty much just kind of lost interest in the album, and that's unfortunately how it usually goes at this point of the album. Just wasn't digging it very well, and number 9, that's why.
Yeah, this was number 8 for me. The bass in this song is so crackly, and it is hard to not focus on it. And this song, it just didn't really stand out as one of the better songs. It's not really that memorable. It's just more of your standard kind of song, you know. I think Love and Chains would have been a better fit for the end of an album than this one because of the energy of that song and stuff. It just overall, would have been a better ending, I think, because of the energy. Because I feel like it kind of lost it. Like this was a tack on versus, it actually was meant to be on the album. Um, so yeah, it wasn't really that. It didn't really hit it for me either.
Yeah, that was Howard a piece on bass on this one.
Those guys, they just came in and ruined the whole thing. It was ridiculous. Yeah, this is number 8 for me. Gotta agree with everything you guys have already said. This one to me is kind of in the same vein as "Take Me Away" and "Move On." Not terrible, but it just doesn't have that catchiness. It just feels like it was a good idea that didn't quite get developed all the way. And while it might be a bit funny to have a song called "Goodbye" close the album, it just wasn't the right choice.
Yeah.
Anything more memorable would have been better. Yeah, I almost put the same thing, that just flipping this with "Love in Chains" would have been a good idea. That just to have something interesting enough that as the album's closing, you're like, man, this was a good album. I'm gonna flip it over and listen to it again.
Yeah.
I wonder if people back then thought that maybe that was like a sign that all the band's over and the song's called "Goodbye."
Yeah.
Javier said
Yeah.
"Goodbye" is his third favorite song. Robbie says he thinks that I dislike this album. He seconds that. Well, you're not entirely wrong there.
Oh my god.
I kind of hinted at that on the last episode.
I can't with Mike today. I just
Mike.
Oh man.
That's good.
So overall scores here, I give this one a 6. And yeah, this is not my favorite of the solo albums. I've always been kind of on the fence with this one, back and forth. Like, yes, there's maybe 3-4 songs that I really like on here, but other than that, the rest of it's all kind of like, I could do without. And to be honest, even the songs I like on this album, I don't really go and put them on that often, to be honest. I'm still not sure whether I like this better than the Peter album or vice versa. I'm still not really decided on that, but I definitely like Ace and Gene's albums better out of the 4. always stood by that since I was a little kid and first heard Gene's and Ace's especially. I love Gene's album. I think it's brilliant. But anyway, there's definitely some true Kiss rockers on here. Definitely some stuff that you wanted to, pretty much wanted to hear from Paul, and he delivered. But then there's a lot of stuff on here that, again, probably could have done without. Could have chose some different type of songwriting, and for the love of God, give us one extra song. Make it an even 10 songs, like pretty much every Kiss album, and just about everything else at the time. That could have possibly even helped save the album, depending on what the song could have been. Who knows? But yeah, in general, just one of them that I've always just been on the fence with, and I love Paul in general. He's definitely the true leader of Kiss. I don't deny that, but when it comes to the solo stuff, I don't know. I'll hit on a little bit more when we get into the confessions, but definitely just there could have been more to it, in my opinion.
Yeah, overall I gave this one a 7. I like this album so much more than the others in general. I mean, back in the day when I first listened to this, when I listened to all of them, Paul's was by far my favorite. I liked his the best. It's been a long time though since I listened to them all, so it's like I don't want to say that again, like for sure, until I listen to Gene and Ace's as well. But I definitely think that Paul's is a step up from Peter's. I will say that for sure. And maybe it's just because style-wise, it's more my taste, than something like that. But I think the fact that I love Paul's voice too so much, that helps it a lot as well. As a vocalist, he's always been one of my favorites, and it's hard not to love the songs just because of that. Because he just has this way with his voice. The lyrics on the album, of course, though, were way corny and over the top and just the innuendos, but I mean, it's fun to sing along with them. So, um, overall, and some of the production could have been a lot better, especially, um, just not being able to hear the bass very well sometimes, and um, the song that I can't remember now, which I think it was "Together as One," the one that it was kind of just inconsistent the way that it was produced, and it was like that could have been so much better. um, but yeah, I think overall, just as of right now, it it beat Peters for me. We'll just say that.
We're beating Peters here.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh no, Robert, no. Oh, God.
Yes.
Oh no. That's basically it.
I like what Mike
that's
said. I blame my comments on being stuck in traffic. I have no control over my texting hand. Well, I'm glad that hand's on your phone and not somewhere else. Giuliani style.
Yeah. You're not getting inspiration for these comments somewhere else.
Oh, that's good.
Don't put your hand in your pocket and grab onto your rocket.
Good thing he doesn't have a fireplace in his car.
Wouldn't that be great? Having a fireplace in your car. Are you there?
Yeah. Oh, Luke's not there.
There you
What?
are. There you are.
There you are.
Okay.
Tell us
All
why
right.
it's a 10.
Yeah, yeah. I'm glad that my audio cut out there actually, because I made a joke and like it was just dead silent. I was like, dang. was it really that bad?
He's like, I made a funny.
Yeah.
What'd you say?
I said it is the time of year to lick a candy cane.
True.
If we're talking about stupid Kiss lyrics, but I said that it was just dead silent. Like, oh man.
He started disintegrating.
Yeah. Oh man. Okay, so I got this as a 7 as well. And yeah, this is a very enjoyable listen, just from start to finish. I think the positives make up for the negatives, just generally. I think the production is really good. I so desperately wish that the drums on Rock and Roll Over and Love Gun could have sounded like they do on most of this album. Not Take Me Away, but I like the punchiness and the closeness, and it's much more similar to the debut album and Dress to Kill. And it just makes me miss that in those other ones so much. And I feel like everything sits about right where it should in the mix. Paul, of course, is in just top form vocally and really shows off his songwriting for most of the album. Getting Bob Kulick for the leads, 100% the right move. You almost wonder if this wasn't Bob just like really getting out his frustration over Ace beating him for the actual spot in Kiss. This was Bob's little, this is why you should have got me kind of move.
Right.
Yeah.
And I mean, he hit the nail on the head, and it was cool to see Bob on Paul's tour in 1989 playing some of these songs as well, to hear him live like that.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that he stuck with him over 10 years later, I mean, it definitely said a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. I thought the session musicians also played really well throughout this whole album. There were a couple of bass moments that I thought were really neat that, it's just a session guy that didn't do much else other than this, at least that he was credited for. I'm curious to hear some of those other Carmine drum tracks, because that was something I thought I'd be curious to hear what he would have played on some of these. or I would have liked for him to play on essentially any other song than "Take Me Away" because that one just seems kind of meh to me generally. I would have been curious, um, especially to hear Paul claim that he overdrummed them. I wonder what in the world he did.
Yeah,
But
I'm curious now if there's demos of those on that collection. I'm gonna have to look here. I don't. Go ahead.
Yeah, overall, I don't know if I feel this album's overrated. I see that a lot. I do wish there had been more memorable songs. I think this album, and when you look at it in the context of all four solo albums, really, it does show how much stronger the four of them were together than separate. Because there's some really strong moments on this, but it's not strong like Love Gun is strong all the way through, or like Rock and Roll Over is strong all the way through. It's just got moments.
Yeah.
Yeah, all I'm seeing is a couple alternative mixes of a few songs, and then I believe one was an alternate version. So I have no clue if that means Carmine played on that or not. Is all I'm seeing.
Right.
Unless there's anything on YouTube. Let's see. So backing up a little bit here, Robbie Starr said that he is not a fan of the production of this album. It's like Crazy Nights, lacks bass. Chris said if you combine Paul's and Peter's solo, you would have the album Lulu, except without Lou Reed to blame for it.
I don't know if it's that bad.
Robbie said Paul should have put a test song, Then She Kissed Me Part 2, with Carmine doing a crazy drum solo at the end. Oh, man. Yep, it's that time of year to stick a log into your fireplace as well.
Oh man, I didn't read it. Mike's got a hole in his pocket. So it's easy.
Oh, Lord.
Oh no.
I see that. He said Kiss is his favorite band of all time. Motley Crue is second.
Nice.
All right, guys, get your confessions ready because we're about to head to that moment of the show. See, just another reason Gene's album is awesome. That song right there. All right. I don't know. Let's go backwards on this. Luke, you want to start?
Yes. I don't think anybody will be surprised by this confession. In fact, it wouldn't surprise me if you guys have very similar ones. Although this album has some really good songs on it, I'm surprised at the amount of filler there is coming from Paul. I know we all had different ideas on which songs were kind of meh, but for me, songs like Move On, Take Me Away, and Goodbye really keep this album from standing alongside the big Kiss albums like Love Gun and Destroyer and stuff. I feel like this had the potential to do that, but just had too many not quite all the way developed songs.
I agree.
Yeah.
Go
Am I
ahead.
going?
Yeah.
Mine is that Tonight You Belong to Me is probably like one of my all-time favorite Paul songs just in general. I love the layout and the way that he sings it, the overall tone, and then that solo in that song. It just makes it an awesome song. So overall, that's probably what I'd say if not my top 5, then my top 10 for sure. Favorite Paul songs.
Wow.
Nice.
Putting you on the spot. What's your other two?
What's my what?
What's the rest of the top 10?
Oh man, I don't know. I had to go through them. I'd have to go through them.
Well, I'm going to say again, like, I know we still have 2 solo albums to go, but again, in general, I feel like this whole solo album thing should not have been done as full albums. I'd have much rather have been, say, like 4 separate EPs, 2 songs on each side. That would have made it much stronger, especially in this case with Paul, like you said, Luke, so much filler on here. We would have just cut all the fat, had, hopefully just, Tonight You Belong to Me and Move On, whatever, like the 4 strongest songs. And they could have just released those as like a little small box set, 4 separate EPs, or even just made it into one full album, kind of like what they ended up doing with the best of Kiss solo albums. They could have just kept it as that, like just one solid album with 4, like 3, 4 songs from each member. Would have been just as good. Just to say, hey, track 1 through 3, this is all Peter. Peter did all. We don't need a whole separate album of all this material to get. We get the point. We get what you guys are saying. You guys can write good songs too. Blah blah blah. So we don't need a full album's worth in a lot of these cases. Could have got it across in 2, 3 songs a piece. That would have been great. And I wonder too if when it comes to Paul, was he in the middle of writing these songs at the time that, like, say they were shooting Phantom or something else? Like, did he just not have enough time to focus on getting a lot of good quality material in there, and he just had to kind of throw a bunch of softballs in per se? It just kind of makes you wonder, because you would kind of think that Paul's would have been kind of the ultimate of the 4 albums if there had to be,
right?
But unfortunately, it's not. I mean, there's a lot of people that'll say it's their least favorite. So I mean, you just get that wide spectrum, and it just creates another bunch of I don't want to say like arguing, because it's not like us Kiss fans get like to where we're insulting each other over what we think of each of these albums, but it just creates more of that, which was what was going on in the band and causes them to do these albums anyway. It's like everyone's got this album's better, no, this one's better, blah 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 blah. It's like they all have their moments, but again, as a whole, I'd have rather just been cut down big time. The best of the solo album, I'd rather just put that on and be just as satisfied and just have a few songs from each of them. All right, so we got some activity here. Chris said that he once read an interview in which Eddie Van Halen was asked if he had listened to any of the Kiss albums, and he replied that Ace's solo album was good because he pushed himself musically, the others didn't. Did Luke just say he was surprised Paul likes filler? Javier's true confession is more about Paul than it is about his album. He loves the Star Child, but as time goes by, he's starting to dislike Paul as a person. Very interesting. I can see where you're coming from with that. I kind of think I know where you're coming from. Chris's confession is that 100,000 Watts once traded Paul's solo album for a Kit Kat bar. And 100,000 Watts' confession is that no matter what, Paul, Ace, Peter, or Gene, I do really enjoy their music. Kiss is awesome. I sold it for some drinking money. I kept Ace. There you go. Yeah, I mean, when it comes down to it, I feel like they're all kind of equal. And again, I feel like they just kind of hurt themselves after the height that they reached with Alive 2 and where they were going with those kind of songs, and to just jump and do this. And then I felt like it hurt them, taking a couple of years off in between Dynasty. And, not that Dynasty is a bad album, don't get me wrong, but it is different, obviously, compared to that material we had prior to, the solo albums, and, just something completely changed.
Yeah, I think this didn't have the effect they were looking for. I think they were kind of hoping that they would all get it out of their systems and be able to come back as a new whole. Right. Whereas instead, this seemed to facilitate the problems, make them worse, make the cracks even bigger. Ace and Peter didn't put out these albums and think, crap, maybe we do need the whole. They put their albums out and said, look, we don't need you guys. It didn't have the effect they wanted at all.
Yeah, and it's like, oh, where was I going? Crap. Now I forget where I was going with that. Never mind.
Whoops.
Did your mind just dust?
Yes, it did actually.
The dimension's getting
already.
worse.
It's dust in the wind.
Mike's getting upset. Paul or Chris and Javier aren't giving Paul enough love. But damn it! What was we saying right before that? So that might spark me.
I don't remember either.
Oh, dementia.
Yeah. We all have short-term memory loss.
Well, anyway, it must not have been too important. So yeah, good participation as always from you guys. You guys, it gets funnier every week.
Yeah.
So I believe, is it the Gene album next?
Yes, indeed it is.
Okay, so next week, Gene Simmons. So that's again going to be some interesting topics there. Make sure to get votes and everything in for that. And then, so let's see how this Paul album seemed to fare with all of our votes.
Indeed. And just, I'm going to forewarn all of you that I will be personally disappointed in you for the rest of all your lives if you don't make When I Wish Upon a Star #1. Okay? Let's just get it out of the way. It's the best Kiss song that there is. Don't any of you argue.
I wish I could dump off the album. Look, Pip agrees with me.
There needs to be like a extended version of that. Like how they had a extended disco version of I Was Made for Loving You. There should be an extended 12-minute version of When You Wish Upon a Star. We gotta come up with some kind of beat and music to put behind that and record it and put that track over it.
Yeah. Yes. All right. So, of course, you guys all just saw our votes. So we are factoring in some other people's votes. We'll go through real quick here.
And notably, Steve and Rochelle have been silent this week. We have not heard from their votes.
We lost you.
Hello.
Yeah.
There you go.
Okay, Jesus. Yeah, so this could be subject to change then, because I would imagine they'll get their votes in before this is all said and done. So in addition to us three, we are counting in several votes from last time. So my votes from last time we did this album, I gave this album an 8 out of 10 before. My top three were Wouldn't You Like to Know Me, Love in Chains, and Tonight You Belong to Me. Eli's from last time. Eli gave this a 6. Top three was Move On, Wouldn't You Like to Know Me, and Tonight You Belong to Me. My dad's from last year. He gave this album a 7. His top three, Take Me Away Together is 1, Wouldn't You Like to Know Me, and Tonight You Belong to Me. Anybody seeing a growing trend here? Steve McGowan's from last year. He gave this album a perfect 10. His top three, Wouldn't You Like to Know Me, It's All Right, and Tonight You Belong to Me. Jay Rucker, who gave this album an 8. His top three, Love in Chains, Move On, and Tonight You Belong to Me. We're actually counting in Sam's from the original Crazy Crazy Kiss Countdown way back. So no overall vote, but his top three was It's All Right, Goodbye, and Love in Chains. Freaking weirdo. Oh, I didn't notice this. We've actually got Savannah's votes from last time. That original 4K.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So top 3, "Take Me Away Together" is 1, "Love in Chains" and "Wouldn't You Like to Know Me."
I didn't put
My young,
tonight on there. What?
yeah, yeah.
Uh-huh.
We've also got my younger sister Magenica's votes from that original Crazy Crazy Kiss Countdown. Her top 3: "Tonight You Belong to Me," "Wouldn't You Like to Know Me," and "Love in Chains." We've got Jay Rucker's dad, who gave this a 7.5 out of 10. His top 3 were "Wouldn't You Like to Know Me," "Goodbye," and "Tonight You Belong to Me." Jay's niece gave this a 9 out of 10. Her top 3: "Move On," "Tonight You Belong to Me," and "Love in Chains." Thomas, Rain in Adamstown, from last time, gave this a 6.5, and his top 3: "Tonight You Belong to Me," "It's All Right," and "Take Me Away Together" is 1. We've also got a 7 out of 10 from Jacob Hicks and a 7 out of 10 from Gianni Ottaviani. So put all that together, and you've got our results from this week. First off, we got a 7.4 average out of 10 overall there. That does put this up decently high on the list. Actually, no, now that I'm looking at it, that puts it second to last with only Peter Criss below it and Hotter Than Hell 0.1 above it. Ouch. Ouch. So in last place for this one, 9th place this week is "Hold Me, Touch Me." I don't think anybody saw that as a surprise. In 8th place, "Ain't Quite Right." In 7th place, "Goodbye." In 6th place, "Move On." In 5th place, "Take Me Away Together" is 1. And our top 4 for this week: in 4th place, "It's All Right." In 3rd place, "Love in Chains." In 2nd place, "Wouldn't You Like to Know Me?" And of course, the biggest surprise of today, in 1st place, "Tonight You Belong to Me."
Shocking.
All right, what did I miss? Javier lost all respect for Paul when he said in his book that he knew that Bill was molesting kids and did nothing about it. As for Bill, I have no respect for him either. He will never get a vote from me to be in the Hall of Fame. Chris said he would have to vote 3 times in order to give this album an 8.
Ouch.
Bill Nye. What's he do? Well, according to Paul, he did kids, I guess.
Yeah. Woo.
And managed Kiss.
Yeah.
Scroll.
All right, well, it looks like that wraps it up then for this week. Again, Gene Simmons' solo album coming up next. So get those votes in. Chris, we'll talk in PM. Let's try to figure out a new date for us to get on the show there with you. Definitely excited to do that as soon as possible.
Yes.
All right, so we're gonna get out of here. If you guys, get out trick or treating this weekend, if your area is having it, be safe, have fun, all that good stuff. Looking forward to it myself. Thankfully, they're finally calling for decent weather around here for once. So, all right. Let's see, a music producer. No, Bill Coyne was Kiss's original manager, and he's the one that between him and Sean Delaney, they really helped get them started. And, Kiss was basically living off of Bill's credit cards in the early days and stuff. And those were all Bill's suits that they wear on the cover of Dress to Kill, or maybe it was just Gene. Maybe if I remember, the other guys had suits, but Gene had to borrow Bill's or something like that. Maybe they were all Bill's. I forget now.
I think Peter owned his, but the other three borrowed them from Bill.
Right. And that explains why Gene's doesn't fit quite that well.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Aces either.
Yeah.
It's up on the ankles.
yeah.
There.
Mm-hmm.
Me and Luke were just talking about those pictures from that because there's colorized pictures as well. And Gene had blue socks on and Ace had red socks on, and I thought that's opposite.
Yeah, that is kind of weird.
Yeah.
Mike says he doesn't care about the manager. They aren't the ones performing. Well, Mike, without the manager, we probably wouldn't see Kiss performing either, because they're a big part of getting those tours put together for them and all the dates and working with the venues and whatnot. So, I mean, the managers do have a big part, even though it doesn't seem like it.
Oh. Well.
All right then, guys. Sounds like another topic growing up about whether Paul should have went to the police. That's another episode.
Definitely, yeah.
So, all right, guys. Thanks again for watching. Thank you guys, as always, for joining in on the chat, having some fun with us. It's always a fun time. So we're going to get out of here. And again, next week, we'll see you for Gene's solo album. And that's it. Take care, everyone. See you later. Bye.
Bye.